Skywalk CUMEO. It's a lightweight version of the Chili 4. Just had some flying in nice smooth conditions, playing around, doing wing overs and messing around with the wing. It's a very light, smooth and reactive feeling in the air, maybe even slightly more than the Chili 4. I actually like the handling, I like the turn particularly. I think it's going to be fantastic in thermals with that turn agility. So yeah, this bag's very cool. Lets the glider ventilate while you've got it packed, sitting in your garage or whatever, and then you can compress it up when you're taking it in your bag. Nice little strap for the wing. There's a nice riser set, very lightweight, a little bit flexible. It's soft webbing. It's quite soft here, it feels quite soft in your hand. Nice big loop at the bottom to connect into your carabiners. Otherwise pretty standard. Split A's, B riser, C riser. Brakes are nice, very soft, flexible feeling, and fairly small size. A little swivel there and a little sheath to protect the brake as it's going through. Hello, the jet fly. Micro lines at the top here. Need a bit of teasing out to get them to release. And some of these lines are sheathed and some not on the way down to the wing. Here's your leading edge. Pulling up had very much the similar characteristics to the Chili 4. It pulls up, it's got a sort of a slow wallowy point kind of halfway up, that you need to pull the wing through that. Slightly less of the kick that I felt in the Chili 4, was coming up nicely over the top and not needing to be slowed down that much. In the air, the pitch is exactly the same as the Chili 4 in that if you induce pitch, or if you putting in the wrong timing with your active flying, the glider will shoot forward, and I think that makes it only suitable for the more experienced pilots in the class. If you mistime your input there, you can get the glider going ahead, giving you a surprise, and it certainly doesn't dampen out that dive that much. Passive flying, stability, fine, just cruising around, it's absorbing the air currents. Also felt like it was giving me good feedback about what was happening in the air. I could feel which side it was pulling on, and it was giving that rounded tequila 4 kind of feeling of softening out the sharpness of the turbulence. But definitely nicer feeling than say a Mentor 5, which will just plank everything out. This is giving me some information about the air currents. If you start spiraling, you can get a really quick rotation without a big drop in the wing, so it doesn't drop the wing and build up a lot of energy, it just turns around really quickly, so that response time is really quick, and not a lot of pressure required for that. So that's cool, I really like that aspect. Having said that, you've got to be careful in that, just like the Chili 4, the spin point is accessible. You can get to it quite easily. The same with the stall point. It takes in above my hips, and the stall is very soft, very precise, very easy, no aggression there. It's easy to go in and out of stall. You can feel that point, but it is gentle and it is accessible. So my reservations are just that some pilots that are new to the XC class might put in too much input on the corners and on the braking and on the top landing. So it's for an experienced class of pilot. You've got to know what you're doing when you fly a wing like this. It's not for a heavy-handed pilot. The turns and the agility and the handling in the air is really lovely. It felt like it had reasonable stiffness in the wing, in that it resisted me the wing collapsing when I went through somebody's wake. Full speed bar felt pretty much the same as the Chili 4. If anything, I'd say slightly slower. I was only able to get about 10 kilometers an hour over my trim speed on successive runs. That's just looking at my ground speed change. I'm at low altitude and it's in winter, so you might get a little bit more in summer, but it's not going to be the fastest wing in the class. Certainly a limited speed travel. Feels quite stable on full speed, no worries there. Big ears were very easy to put in, and I could fly around nicely on big ears using a bit of bar too. They're fairly small, so you don't get a massive descent rate, but they're quite usable for kind of messing around on the slope and top landing. Pitching up, big ears in, very nice and stable. Letting them go, coming out on their own. Almost. I think I actually prefer it to the Chili 4. I think it's got a little bit more smoothness and agility in the turn, but it is very similar. So you're getting a lighter weight. You have to look after it slightly more carefully with the thinner fabric, but it looks well made. It'll last you a long time. It's great for hike and fly adventures. So for general flying and for cross country, it's a fun, easy to control reactive glider that gives you a good feeling of the air. Limited top speed requires a pilot at a fairly high level to get the most out of the wing and be safe.